Achilles versus Beowulf. Who's the real hero? Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the world of epic heroes, comparing two of the greatest legends of all time, Achilles, the rage-filled warrior from Homer's Iliad, and Beowulf, the selfless king and the hero of the English epic Beowulf. I am not biased in this whatsoever. I've only read the Iliad parts that include 3 chapters at the end where Achilles is kind of losing his shit, but yeah. But here's the question: who deserves the title of hero more? We're going to break down their motivations, their battles, and their ultimate legacies, and decide who truly embodies the heroic ideal. So let's get started. First up, let's talk about Achilles. He's the ultimate warrior, arguably invulnerable, definitely fierce. The Iliad paints him as the greatest fighter of all time. Achilles is driven by kleos. That's Greek for everlasting glory, I think. He wants to be remembered forever, and he's willing to do anything to achieve it. Think of it as a warrior's version of becoming a social media influencer. Ooh. With, more bloodshed, probably. To him, it's the only type of immortality. But here's the catch. Achilles isn't exactly a nice guy. He's arrogant, he's prone to rage, and his actions often have devastating consequences. Remember that time where he sulks and refuses to fight because of a petty argument with Agamemnon? Thousands of soldiers suffered because of his ego. And his reaction to Patroclus' death? He's so consumed with vengeance that he desecrates Hector's body. So, is this really the behavior of a hero? We'll see. He's probably a hero to, those people he was fighting for, who I don't actually know. He was fighting against Troy. Who was it again? Remind me in the comments. Now let's switch gears to Beowulf. From the misty lands of Geatland came the hero of the different kind. Beowulf is a warrior, yes, and he's incredibly strong. But his primary motivation isn't personal glory, it's protecting his people. I don't know whether I agree with that. He did sail to Heorot to fight Grendel to rid them of this 12-year problem. But did he do it for credit on his resume? He travels to Denmark to defeat Grendel, not for personal fame, but to help King Hrothgar and his people. He's basically volunteering to save them from a monster. Selfless? Maybe. Heroic? Probably. And then he becomes king himself. He's a wise and just king, so we're told anyway. He faces the dragon in his old age, knowing that it can mean his death, but understanding that his people need him. Beowulf is literally putting his life on the line for others, which kind of is the definition of a hero, right? Key differences and motivations. Okay, so the biggest difference between these two is their way. Achilles is driven by a need for personal glory, a desire to be remembered as the greatest. Beowulf is driven by a sense of duty, responsibility to protect those around him. Think of it this way: Achilles is like a star athlete who only cares about breaking records, even if it means stepping on his teammates. Beowulf is like the team captain who's always putting the team first. This fundamental difference in the motivations shapes their actions and ultimately defines their legacies. The battles that our heroes fight also differ a lot. Achilles tends to fight other humans, and while that doesn't diminish his battlefield prowess, because pretty much just take on armies all by himself. So yeah, his enemies aren't really existential threats to society as a whole. Beowulf, on the other hand, fights monsters. He fights monsters one at a time. Yes, he has a strength of 30 men, but Achilles takes down entire armies, so entire army, one monster. Achilles is essentially settling a personal score with Hector when he kills him, while Beowulf is ridding society of an evil that will ensure its destruction. He is the offspring of Cain, after all, and of course the fire drake who's burning shit around and eating people's flux. Neither one of these guys is perfect. Achilles has his rage and arrogance, which we've already touched on, but Beowulf, does he have any flaws? Some argue that Beowulf's pride might be a weakness, especially in his final battle with the dragon, insisting on fighting it alone rather than with the 12 other people that he brought with him. He insists on fighting it alone, even though he's old and it's clear he needs help. Is this bravery? Is it hubris? Or is it just plain stupid? Both Achilles and Beowulf meet tragic ends, but the impact of their deaths on their respective communities is very different. Achilles dies in the battle during the Trojan War, ensuring his name will be etched in history. But Achilles' death isn't really the downfall of society as a whole. Beowulf, however, is a completely different story. When Beowulf dies defeating the dragon, he leaves his people vulnerable and uncertain. Weirlaf's lament at the end of Beowulf highlights the real-world consequences of Beowulf's death. With their protector gone, the Geats face a bleak future. In fact, some historians believe that the Geats were eventually conquered and society faded away. There is no proof that Beowulf actually existed, but the Geats did kind of vanish, and they were feuding with Sweden at the time, who had been leaving them alone simply because Beowulf was their king. So him gone, the Swedes are coming, and this was what they were talking about with Beowulf's lament at his funeral. We come to the million-dollar question: who is the real hero? There's no easy answer here. It really comes down to what you value most in a hero. If you admire raw power, undeniable skill, and a relentless pursuit of glory, then Achilles might be your guy. He's the force of nature and a legend in his own time. But if you admire selflessness, duty, and a willingness to sacrifice everything for the greater good, then Beowulf is your hero. He embodies the best qualities of a leader and a protector. Ultimately, both Achilles and Beowulf are complex and fascinating characters. They both represent a different aspect of the human condition. Their stories continue to resonate with us because grappling with the fundamental questions about what it means to be human, to be courageous, and to face inevitable death. Yeah, they both do put their lives on the line. Although Beowulf went into that fight with the dragon knowing that he could possibly die, Achilles was arrogant enough to believe that he was in fact invulnerable. I'm not even sure, because I haven't read the Iliad, let me know in the comments, but I wasn't actually sure whether he even knew about his vulnerability at his hill, or whether he thought that he's just the greatest of all time. So, who do you think is the real hero? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, happy Mondays. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed, like the video if you like the video, and I'll see you on Wednesday. I forgot to record the audio into the thing.